Well, yeah, we're live. There you go. We're in. We are back. It's
Good
another
evening,
live
everyone.
stream.
How is
Evening.
everyone?
Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone has brought their favourite tipple for tonight. I have got my beer ready.
Yeah, I've got a cup of tea.
Secretly rum and coke.
Promise you, it's tea. PG tips.
PG. Not even Yorkshire tea. I thought you guys swear by Yorkshire tea.
Couldn't get Yorkshire tea with
Oh no.
COVID-19. I couldn't get any.
Oh, the downside of COVID-19, you run out of Northern Yorkshire tea.
I know, it's horrible.
To be honest,
So,
I prefer Twinings, so
so we've got rum and coke. Rum for guys drinking a rum and coke. Don't know what Graham's drinking. He's not mentioned.
it's
Yes,
got to be
PG tips.
it's got to be Twinings really. Twinings is the best in my opinion, but maybe that's because
Oh, you're something.
I'm a southerner. There you go.
Right, so today we're just sort of going to recap on what's going on in the world of motoring, a few points to touch on, and yeah, sort of go from there, see how it goes. People can sort of write in, say what they've sort of heard throughout this week. As you know, it's also been changes regarding MOT stuff going on. There's been all sorts really. So yeah, let's just have a bit of a chinwag and have a good evening.
Yeah, I can't make any promises. I don't talk about Austin Maxis.
No, it wouldn't be you if we didn't talk about Austin
Oh,
Maxis, would it?
there's a really good one on eBay at the moment, and I don't know. I've got to prioritise what vehicle do I buy next. Recovery truck, Austin Maxi. Recovery truck, Austin Maxi. I don't know. It's too hard.
Well, you know my answer.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know because I think you want both. I think you secretly want the Austin Maxi.
I can't wait to get my hands on something different, to be honest. And I think that's the biggest thing. It's just to be able to have a tinker with a different car, I guess. So
Even if it's a
yeah,
Ford Transit.
yeah. Although if that's the case, I could just go and service my daily. Oh, Lone Star Mini's tuned in. How
Good
are you,
evening, Lone
Randy?
Star.
All the way over in Texas. Saw the Austin ambassador this week. Yeah, well, I think James has definitely got his heart set on a Maxi, not an ambassador, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think.
We got William Murphy. We got Paul Jeffries. So yeah, it's quite a few people. So what's new with us? I guess I mean I'll go first. Mini Clubman's getting there. Started bodywork. Got very bored of bodywork quite quickly. Loads and loads to do. I painted the subframe. That's coming soon. All sorts of things really. So Patrick, hi from New York. That's awesome. Hello. Yeah, so the Mini Cooper's really getting there. If you follow us on Instagram, if you don't, please go over and check that page out. There's a few sneak peek pictures of it on there. Getting there. I think James is getting excited to get it back now. So yeah, if you didn't buy a Maxi before. So
Well, yeah, might get it back, and then you might have a Maxi on the driveway instead.
here
Don't
you
think
go.
that.
Well, this up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty hard to get panels for this car now, so you have to make them all yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
there's we've done a few live streams with cars, viewers, cars, GB versus America. But I think we'll just I think we're all just
general chat today.
general chat. We're prologuing. We're all a bit fed up of being stuck indoors, and we just want to be able to have a chat, talk about car topics, anything really. Obviously, take this opportunity to ask us anything, see what
Yeah.
you do. Obviously, Mark's the bodywork expert, so that's a lot of the videos.
I wouldn't
Violet
say
is
expert.
well, yeah, I suppose define expert, yeah. But
Yeah, so if there's anything you guys want to see or you don't see enough of on our channel, let us know. We're always looking for ideas, and we have got quite a bit in the pipeline. But yeah, it's what we want to do, what you guys want to see, is at the same time as doing what we want to get done as well. So yeah, please comment along or drop us a message later on. Just let us know. Oh, Andy's in. He had a good old drink last week, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. I'm waiting for my dad to come with him. He's not. He's probably enjoying his fish and chips or his haddock and chips.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, John Clark's back. Good evening, John, or afternoon probably in America.
Yeah. California. Carolina, sorry.
We've got a
Did
few
you get
people
that
from
one?
the States today. That's like.
Yeah, we've got like 4 people from the States. That's awesome.
Well, that's funny you say that because the first thing we put on our notes for talking about the news was Bald Eagles USA. So.
Yeah.
Oh, he's appeared. But yeah, I think
So,
something Americans definitely got to come on the channel soon, isn't it? But we have got access to an American car that may be on the
yeah.
channel soon. We'll
Yes,
see.
it's coming. So Graham wants to see Mark's missus shouting at him, "Why haven't you got on with the '89 build?"
Why haven't you got on with the 89
There you go. Is that good enough, Graham? Yeah, 89 build, really. I would say, I want to say a confession, but it's not my fault that it's not getting done at the same time. It is all money now, and obviously, right at the beginning of the build, I said we wanted to build it for our wedding. COVID-19 has put a big dampener on financials, and if we want to do it right, we don't want to scrimp on panels. So we are in the background. We're going to start cleaning up some bits and pieces for the car, so when rebuild starts, it's not too far away. Makes life a bit easier at the end. But yeah, the 89 is coming back. I've got a bit of plans this week, hopefully, to repair the roof. There's a few holes on there, so yeah, you will see it. So it's gone from do the shell, put the car back together, to do the shell, get a new engine, retrim it interior. So it's going to be a better car at the end of it. But it is coming back. Hi from Jersey. (33 Fahrenheit).
That's cold.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
real
it's quite
cold.
warm here.
Yeah.
So, any of you guys that have already tuned in now, I don't want to be one of these people that does this, but if you haven't actually subscribed to our channel, please hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 1,600. I think 1,600 and what are we at? 1,700.
Almost 1,700. We're so close to 1,700. Yeah.
We're so close now. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed, please give us a shout. Yeah, William Murphy bought a panel off us. He has just commented there, and that has gone into the funds. But yeah, we're it's the back panel next, back panel and valance. So that's the big whole back end of the car done then. So yeah, there is some money in the funds, definitely. Just a case of finding the right prices now for the panels. So Mark's digging himself out of a hole. I promise you I'm not. She's not angry at me in any way. I hope not. So you can blame James with his Cooper, actually, if we're going to play the blame game.
What? Blame me?
Money joke.
We're not that far from 1,700. Less than 10, I think.
Can someone give me 3,500 for a maxi?
Yeah, I would. If someone gave me 3.5 grand, that would be.
That would get you a good maxi. That would get you like a show maxi.
Well, yeah, they seem to be going for that sort of price. Like one's rust-free examples that work. 3.5 grand is the going price for a good one.
Yeah.
I want one as a project. I don't, because if I get one that's showroom condition, I won't want to change it.
There's nothing to do, is there?
Yeah, I'll just keep it original. And
we
then,
can't modify it because
exactly,
the purists are stones
I
at
think
us.
I'd rather get one that's like £1,000, £1,500, but needs some welding doing to it, and then actually we can modify it a bit and don't feel so bad about it, and we actually saved it from the scrap heap at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we need one that's structurally sound, but has a bit of room for personalisation. I think is the best thing. So they are out there. They're starting to creep back up for sale, but obviously we do have our eyes on other stuff as well, don't we? So both of us always got a hankering for something else.
Yeah, I think we need to set the foundations for being able to get these projects in, and then we'll have lots of projects on the go.
Then it doesn't matter if the projects are drivable or not.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can get them cheaper. So, although I really I don't need any more. They weren't rust free out of the factory. Yeah, Graham's got a very good point there. I think that's pretty much British Leyland. I think they planted rust.
Well, there's that what's a maxi? I wonder if I can get a picture up.
£750 for a full floor. Yes, the '89 build. The floor was nearly £700. Not cheap, but well and truly worth it. You completely sort the underneath of your car out, so it's the best solution really if your floors are quite bad. Lone Star Mini doesn't know what a maxi is, so it'd be nice to show him a picture.
Yeah, it should be up on the screen now. Sorry, it might have gone full screen for a second, but
yeah. There you go, Randy. That's
that is an Austin Maxi.
See, it's a pretty cool car. What's that? Is that antique gold the colour or something, isn't it? It's like
I think
dirty
it's
green.
classed as a gold, but it looks...
Yeah. I like the way this one's got double mirrors. We discussed this last week, didn't we?
Yeah, it's got the door and the wing mirrors. But
like a Vespa.
I found out that the one that my mum had was a 1750 HS, and it was a Maxi one. And I was trying to think what does HS stand for, but it must be highly slow because I can't think of or high speed doesn't make any sense. It never.
No, it's definitely a high speed. High spec.
Yeah. High spec, maybe.
Yeah.
Someone probably knows in the comment what the HS stand for.
Yeah, Graham will know. Come on, Graham. What does HS stand for on the Austin Maxis? So Harvest Gold. Yes, it could possibly be, but I'm not sure. Because we have seen this colour on Clubman Estates, and I'm sure it came down as antique gold. But yeah, I guess if we can get the registration off that, we can do a bit of a check on it, really. Graham's just admitted that he's a car geek. So, yeah, I mean, Harvest Gold was one of the options I did think about for the budget Clubman, but I definitely think my other half definitely nailed it with the bronze yellow, really.
It could be HL, yeah. I don't know.
HL was what they named minis as well.
Yeah. We'll have to.
Which is probably something to do with luxury or something. I imagine HL.
Probably more than likely. Heap of, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Andy's just pretty much described the color pretty well. It's like baby version, isn't it?
To be fair, you probably need both from Maxi, both RAC and the AA. It's probably why you need 4 wing mirrors just so you can see what you're about to plough into. That tank though,
Classic Mini Workshop's just made a valid point. It's got an RAC badge and an AA badge on it. It's definitely a good, genuine Maxi. Needed all the help it could get to stay on the road.
It's for when one says we won't work on that type of car, so you have to call the other one.
Yeah, when you've broken down more than twice in a day.
Yeah. We've already come out for you for this problem, and so okay, I'll just call you.
It's something
then.
else, I promise.
Highline. It stood for Highline. Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Thanks.
I thought Highline was always associated with the Volkswagens.
I can agree that an English Mountain Dew is nothing compared to what the American Mountain Dew is.
I've never had an American one.
When I was in Florida last year, I made an effort to buy a Mountain Dew, and it's good. It tastes different, really different, but it gives you energy, especially when you're walking along a lot. So, but probably wouldn't recommend it on a daily basis. But we'll see what happens. To Cletus.
Yeah, they always say that about energy drinks, though, don't they? But yeah. So we've thought of a few things to talk about for tonight. One of the things that came up is what is everyone's views on the new, or not so quite so new, I guess, but the electric Mini made by BMW. What do people think about that? The biggest thing I can see as a downfall is the range. It's got quite an awful range on it. Is it like 120 mile range? I think we looked it up.
I think they're officially
It's not the
saying
best
up to 150, but real world you're looking at 120 or something.
with the traffic and
Yeah,
acceleration. They're about that, don't they?
yeah.
So yeah, what's everyone else's views on that? I mean, there might be some electric car haters. There might be people that just think the Mini shouldn't be electric. There might be all sorts. I think personally, the styling's not that bad. I think they've done quite nice with the styling. They've kept it quite retro looking, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see, as primarily a lot of our viewers, I imagine, like the Minis, what they think of that.
I would actually have one. I think I think it'd be a perfect go around little short journey, short errand car.
Yeah.
Um, they're fairly cheap in terms of the electrical world at the moment,
Mm.
compared to other electric cars. They're going to be bulletproof. BMW engineering, I think they're really cool. I think it's great that
Yeah.
they've done it, and they're still made in Oxford. They're still made in the same
Yeah,
mini
it's
plant.
still
So
keeping the Mini alive at the end of the day,
yeah,
just with a modern twist. Owen Cooks mentioned the wheels are weird. Yeah, the wheels, I don't really like the wheels, and I think that's their main option. It's what distinguishes that between an electric and a petrol one. It's a bit weird. Patrick hates electric cars, so that's that one out the window. I dislike modern Minis. That's fair enough. I personally don't like the late new Minis. I don't think they're very nice. This is the electric one, just appeared on the screen now. I think for me that the whole point of a modern classic like the Fiat 500 and the Beetle and the Mini, they've got to still look like the car, and I slowly think the Mini's losing that. I think the Mini's slowly, I know it's becoming more and more cartoon-like, and I think it's losing that charm I think it has. But yeah, for an electric car, they've done pretty well, I guess. I don't know what James thinks.
yeah. I've watched a few review videos about them. I think they're a great car, but
There was one at IMM, wasn't there?
it was. But I think the infrastructure for electric cars, obviously, it's growing and growing and growing. But it's yeah, I think the infrastructure's there for long range electric cars, especially Teslas and the supercharger points, and they put a lot of money into it. But I suppose if you've got a short range car and you don't want to go too far, yeah, if you just
Yeah,
go to the shops and back, it's a lot of money to invest just to go to the shops and back, or to go,
yeah,
down to the coast and back. Well, that's for me because it's only 35 miles away. But you're still it's still so expensive to own, and you're not probably going to see a return on your investment ever, probably.
yeah,
And because you're not going to be able to do the mileage in it, and you got to still pay for the electric at the end of the day, and you're still going to
yeah.
want a petrol or diesel car when you want to do 400 miles up north. It's
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah,
I think for England, obviously, it's probably a better place for them to sell cars. In America, having such a short range would be
yeah.
terrible. Um,
Saying that, Randy's commented, I'm waiting for electric conversions to become less expensive. So, what are you thinking, Randy? Are you thinking of doing an electric classic car, or quite nice to see that really, because in Texas and all highways and stuff, like James has just said, America, I guess, would struggle with the electric system even more because there's greater distances to travel between things. That's just gauging it from being in the UK. I don't know, but yeah, but there is more electric cars in America, I think.
well, I think it's Tesla, isn't it? It's Tesla in America.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And I
Range
think,
was
yeah,
better. I'd consider one if I had the cash. I think the cash is the biggest problem. I think even if you look at Nissan Leafs and all sorts of cars like that, I think they're just still too expensive. I don't think they're gonna. It's not gonna happen in the next 5 years. I don't think we're gonna have that many electrics, but they've definitely increased just in the last year or so.
I I want an electric car, but and you just someone's talking about Lone Star saying waiting for the conversions to come less expensive, and that would be
That was one thing we were thinking about
we're speaking
for a few.
about doing for a potential classic mini conversion and bring that to the channel, but
Yeah,
I think looking into it and the cost of it and the time and effort and the fabrication work,
yeah,
I think it will happen. I think I will do one. I think we both will probably do one in the future, but just not yet. Especially with some of the kits, yeah, like Slipstar
they
saying.
are expensive. I think there's somewhere in Europe that make subframes, but then you need to get a crash damaged car or buy a new motor, then you need your batteries, then you need your harness,
Yeah.
then the body modifications to the car. I do think it's going to add up.
I think there was a company in the Netherlands that were doing like a crowdfunded project for classic Mini conversions, and I think the kit was at like €15,000 for a Mini, and then I think you still got to buy a battery, and I think a lot of people were buying like salvaged Leafs, the Mark One Leafs, which 3 or 4 years ago, a Mark One Leaf was pretty much valueless. You could pick those up with low mileage for like 3.5, 4 grand. But if you actually look to buy one now, they're like 6.5, 7 now. They've actually gone up. So there was a drop in electric car market, but it's booming again now. I think someone else said a point. There's no point having an electric car if it's the fossil fuels are still being burnt to produce the electricity. And I think for me, one of my long-term goals would be to, whenever I have a house, would be to have solar and then electric, and then or maybe some sort of battery storage for the solar so that you can charge your car overnight.
Tesla announced this week that they're looking to become a UK supplier, aren't they? They announced that. It was on some, I remember I saw it on some forum somewhere, or it might have been on a pop-up on my emails, but they mentioned about becoming a UK energy supplier. So, and that's just another thing, isn't it, that's spelled from having cars.
Yeah, it's enough charging points, but
Slipstar looked into it for his Fiat.
Yeah, 12 to 13k just for a Fiat 500.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Like
when you think the Fiat 500's worth what? I don't know what they're worth. Are they £8,000 for a nice one? You could argue, are you going to devalue it as well? And there's all this you've got to consider. So.
Yeah, I think it would probably.
Yeah, so,
I think resale value of any classic converted car, maybe in the future it'd be different, but I think a lot of people will be put off if someone was to go buy an electric car that had been converted by someone, because unless you've done it, you're not really going to know what to do if something goes wrong, and you've got no guarantee.
You're better off building it yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then learning a bit more about it.
I think there are some companies in the States that are doing electric conversions for customers, but I suppose you've got that business to go fall back on if something ever goes wrong in the future.
Yeah.
But in the UK, I haven't heard of any people that do that.
So Slipstar's mentioned again there that there's one being built on Instagram. I do follow him actually, mainly because James mentioned that it might be a possibility for his Mayfair, and he's built everything from scratch, and I think he's looking to do it as like a business after. So I sort of get what he's electric shorty, and there's also electric classic mini on there. That's the other one I've been looking at. So there is a few out there, and Classic Mini Workshop just said UK top selling car was the Model 3 Tesla. So it is getting to the point where this is becoming an option, but it's just what you guys think about that in an old car, I guess. For me, the biggest thing would be sound again. It would be, the big American V8 cars suddenly making them silent, and then you can argue you can put the sound of an engine on on the speakers and sound system. But James has personally been in the Mustang as well, and it's not going to be the same. I don't think you can take such a big car and make it electric like that. I just don't. You'd lose all the charm. You'd lose all of it.
An electric Mustang. Just why would that even exist? Like,
that's what I mean. It's hard to
converting one. It all lives for that. That V8 power, that V8 noise, just that low frequency burble where you're just putting away and you're not even putting any power into it. It's just a nice sound. There's a lot of electric cars that play realistic car noises, like acceleration noises, just so you feel like you're driving a car. I'm like, what's the point?
Yeah. Miltech now make an app, don't they, for electric car owners? They can play the Miltech app through the car, and it can have any sound it wants. And it's just, it's what you feel about it at the end of the day. It's I think the happy medium so far for me, and it's taken me a long while to get to this point, but James has mentioned it a few times as well. If you didn't do a lot of mileage, have an electric daily and enjoy your classics of the weekend, and I think that's the best way I think you can do it. But it's affording that electric daily, isn't it?
I know they're saying that the fuel will probably be gone in 50 years, but obviously the more people that go to electric now, the longer the reserves will last, and obviously there's a point to where naturally regenerates so much oil every year. But it's but at the end of the day, ethanol fuel will probably become more and more common in the future. And ethanol fuel
Yeah,
can be bioethanol, so it can be replicated very easily. But obviously, it's just the quantity and the scale. But if it's at the point
yeah,
where everyone's driving electric or hydrogen cars every day, yeah, so what, you might have to change all the fuel lines, your fuel pump in your car, but obviously for an older Mini, it's not probably just the fuel lines that you would have to worry about, maybe the carb or
yeah.
the float bulb, but people will
Carburetors and stuff.
adapt it,
Yeah,
yeah. But there'll be people that will be able to make these better, and you can just run your car on ethanol and it,
yeah,
or some sort of bioethanol, and we can still enjoy our classic cars as petrol cars essentially. I think that's
yeah,
the way it will go. Um, but yeah, obviously it's only 20 years from the first government target of no electric petrol cars to be manufactured.
yeah.
So for EU at least, I
It
don't
will.
know.
It will be interesting to see how it pans out. And I think the biggest thing they're going to have to try and target, whether it's hybrids or electrics, is the commercial vehicles. Because let's put it bluntly, the commercial vehicles take up a lot of our roads. They're on the roads all the time. They're getting us our supplies. They're always travelling. And if that's where they can lose the carbon emissions, then that's where it needs to go. But they also need to be able to do the mileage and tow weight and be quite versatile. And I don't think it's there yet in that respect. It's getting there, but it's not quite there yet. Hydrogen cars has come into a conversation again, and yeah, it's one of them. So that's the new Tesla Model Y, isn't it?
Yeah, I just found a picture of the new Model Y.
Yeah. So that's meant to be another one like the Model 3, like a quite a cheap competitor for the electric car world. But it's one of them. I've never driven one. I can't comment on them at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, that's how the world's going, and you got to embrace it. It's like going out there and starting your project for the same time. You can look at it and be daunted, but unless you ever go at it, you're never going to know, are you? And that's why people are doing all these tests by putting electric motors in classic cars. And one thing I have thought about is there anything like electric motorbikes? Like, is that a thing?
Oh, it's
I
funny you
don't,
should say that.
I don't know.
There's a upcoming guy on YouTube. I think he's based in Las Vegas. He's called the Inja, so INJA.
Yeah,
He bought a cheap Chinese electric motorbike off I think it was Alibaba, one of the Chinese big wholesalers and stuff. Well, auction sites, whatever you call them. Um,
yeah,
but he ended up with the wrong one, and then he was like, "Screw it!" Rather than try and send it back and get the right one, he converted it into. He built his own battery pack. He's put his own controller in, and he's done it for like $6,500. And
yeah.
do you know what? It has top speed of 70 miles an hour and a range of 130 miles on a bike. It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
pretty good.
yeah, I'll check his channel out if you haven't already. He's probably one of the first sort of. He's he's put a big sticker on the front that says Tesla, but then above it he's put not technically a Tesla. um, but yeah, no, that's a good channel. The Inja, definitely go
Yeah.
give him a watch if you're into your bikes. Like, I'm into my bikes, but I'm not. I'll never own one. I'll never go for my license. I don't
No,
think.
no,
I
I'm
don't,
not.
don't
I'm not one.
don't think I'd ever be allowed to go for my bike license. So it would be.
I had a moped when I was 16 purely because I lived in the middle of nowhere and I wanted to get about. And before the time James knew me, and he'd probably laugh if he ever saw me on a moped, but it was a year of motoring where road tax was £15 a year. It cost me £5 a week to run. It was, I think I paid £350 for it as a spares or repairs, and all it needed was a battery cable and a battery. 50cc de-restricted. It was fun. I had it throughout the summer. Sold it as soon as I had a driving license and got my Mini. So yeah, it's actually I had my first Mini with my moped, but then once I could drive, obviously I got rid of the moped. But I wouldn't
No,
go for another. I feel like I diced to death a lot with that, and I didn't like it. It was, yeah, it's not the. Wouldn't do it again. I'm not a two-wheel person. Not into it. Just looking there, going off the electric before people leave and start shouting at us.
yeah.
Russ Bucket's just got the engine out of his Mini, so
Oh, that's well
obviously that's
done.
an A series. Congratulations on that. It's a big milestone. What did you learn? Have you found anything that needs replacing? Any rust behind there, or is it oily enough to save everything at the front of the car? Um, yeah, all this technology, and why haven't we made a self-charging car? I've always said, why haven't we got solar panels on the roof of cars? That
Well,
could be an option.
There's
But
that other.
yesterday,
I don't know what's happened. There's that other car. I've forgotten the name. German company. They were crowdfunded. They put solar panels into pretty much every panel of the car. But it's the. I think it's the problem with solar and the weather and when you're moving and shadows and
yeah,
at the moment solar technology is not. It's getting cheaper, but it's not efficient enough for it to charge a whole battery pack like throughout a
no,
whole drive sort of thing.
no, yeah. James has joined us. Evening, gents. Electric bikes are pretty cool. Yeah. Keith Miller's just mentioned EV bikes are pretty cool. To be honest, I've never looked into it. I wouldn't know. Being a non-bike person, I probably wouldn't look into it. But I know it's a thing that's out there. But again, if they're as quick as the cars are, it must be pretty rapid. Quite scary in some respects, I guess. Uh, and Rust Bucket's got his CBT booked. But by that point, you might be able to drive. Save your money, put it into your Mini and drive. No, I'm only joking. If you want to get on your motorbike, get on it.
Yeah, I think CVT for what it costs, and from what I've heard, it's virtually impossible to fail it.
Yeah, all I did was ride around the circle in cones, learn how to stop and signal, and yeah, it was basically bike security. Make sure you secure it, and that's it. It was like £100 for 3 hours, and it was like, here you go, here's your pass, and you had it 3 years before you're on provisional license, basically.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It got you about. I would fully recommend doing it if you want to get about. That's the best thing, really.
You can go up to 125 on a CVT, can't you?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, slightly different CVTs. Obviously, you got to learn to use clutch and gears, but yeah, pretty much same course. You just ride around some cones, bike security again, and yeah. Mini Driven Car Club. Hello, William. How are you? Thank you for sharing our Instagram page a lot this week. It's been really. I'm really grateful for that, and it's definitely helped us get a few subscribers. So thank you very much.
Good evening. What was next on our list? I suppose we kind of talking about the classic electric. We're going to stop talking about electric.
Yeah, we don't want people to not talk to us again. One thing just before we do come off that is Keith Miller's basically said self-charging cars are hybrids. They use a petrol motor to charge a battery. So basically that's where we're at with that in that respect, aren't we? So
that'll probably be around for a long time, especially if bioethanol becomes a bit more popular. It's a little bit greener for the planet, but they can still kick that in if they need to charge.
Yeah. Don't fall off your bike in your pass. Yeah, basically, Ron for guy's right. You just got to learn how to balance. If you ride a push bike, you can ride a moped.
Yeah. I had a friend that said they fell off in their CVT and they still passed, and I'm like, so they obviously thought you were safe enough to go on the road then. But it's basic training, isn't it?
Randy's leaving to go for root beer tasting.
Well, that sounds great. I think I would rather be doing that, to be honest.
Have fun, Randy. Enjoy yourself.
Yeah, have a good one. Was going to talk about the MOT extension, wasn't we?
Yeah. So obviously, COVID-19. What's people's views on that? Has anyone actually got an MOT exempt car now? I personally have. My daily is MOT exempt, so I've got a 6 months extension. People have got to remember not to sort of take the mick out of the system. As soon as you can get an MOT, get an MOT. I, for one, did all the work to my car a month before the MOT to make sure it would pass, and then couldn't take it for an MOT. So it's fallen a bit annoying, but at least I know my car was safe. So that is the main thing with an MOT, is make sure your car's safe. So what's your views, James?
It was every car that had an MOT on the 1st of April got a 6 month extension. So
6 months, yeah.
Technically, like my car my Alpha was January, but obviously that's qualified for the extension. But I think it's going to be interesting. A lot of garages out there are probably going to lose business because people are not going to worry about it. I think that's my biggest fear is that.
I'm more worried about the accidents. People not looking after their car
Well, that's it. If you have an accident when you're in your MOT extension period and they prove that it wasn't technically roadworthy, they could probably argue the whole claim against you, even though you did have MOT. But like they say, it's still your responsibility to make sure your car is roadworthy. So technically Laura's has expired now, but it's got the extension. But we're just going to get it when the lockdown is over. We'll get it done
Yeah.
then. We're not fussed about it too
No.
much. And obviously she's a key worker. She needs to get to hospital
Yeah.
to work, so she needs to take her car. And I look over her car. I know it is. It's not even an old car. It's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it. And I've done all the servicing and brakes on it, so I'm not worried about it. It's the thing that I think that's got me today, and I actually saw it on a car that Mark sent me earlier, or vehicle, truck, whatever they do. They put it up for sale. They said it needs work for the MOT, but thanks to the 6 month extension, it now has 6 months MOT, so it's running and driving 6 months MOT. But they basically
Yeah, it's
worded the advert to say that the car,
a plus, and it's got
the
another
truck,
6 months.
the van shouldn't be driven because it was going to fail the MOT, but because it got the extension and
It's
just
fine. Yeah.
it's fine, you know. It's like you're like, yeah, okay. I think that's the biggest problem there is there's a lot of people that will take advantage of it, and I think especially when you want the economy to stay strong, a lot of people, garages, especially small garages, small MOT test stations, are going to suffer from it. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's all right as a temporary extension. Maybe 6 months was too much. Maybe a 3 month extension should have been what they did.
Yeah.
But they didn't know at the time, I guess, and they didn't want to stop key workers being able to move, and it was only fair to do it for the whole of the country, I guess. So
Yeah.
surprised
It's
they
a
did it
case
at
of
all.
getting MOT as soon as you can. I think, like James has mentioned, it's to keep the key workers at work, and I think Graham just made a point now. He thinks it's a bad idea because there's some scrap piles of cars for sale and on the road. And to be honest, even without this extension, there's some awful cars on the road. Some of the stuff I see, mainly because it's crawling on the motorways and stuff like that. And the main thing I always notice is tyres, and I just can't believe how people can drive around on absolute ball tyres. And you're not only going to put yourself at risk, but you're putting other people at risk, aren't you? And I think if you can't even look after your tyres, you're clearly not probably servicing your car. You're not looking underneath it. You're not checking your brakes regularly. And I guess you could argue it's not a car person. If you're not a car person, you're not going to do that. But use common sense. It's your car comes with a service manual for a reason, and it should just be checked upon a bit more, I think.
Although I imagine modern cars service manuals just say go to the dealer.
I think they do, yeah. And I mean, the other thing I don't agree with either is this: new cars don't need MOT until they're 3 years old. And I think a lot of people that have new cars now end up having lease cars. And then they get hammered with the mileage. They might do 50k in 3 years, and it's never had an MOT. And it's like, you're telling me that it doesn't need any work.
I heard a rumour they were extended now. I thought they were going to push it up to 4 years before it required.
I think that's an awful idea.
Yeah.
I really do think that's an awful idea. Rusty Eye Auto. Sorry you're late. Don't be silly. Don't be sorry. We're a bit early today.
Technically, we're early today, so yeah.
Yeah, personal reasons, we're a bit earlier today, so. Took mine for an MOT the day before the scheme started. Passed no advisories. Not bad for a 20-year-old car. So, John, what do you own? Is it a Mini? Or is it some sort of other daily or... Well, we've got a bit coming through on this old MOT chat now. Yeah, Rusty Auto's just blamed it on us. Yeah, you can. We're early. It's okay.
James said we don't see you, but I think the stream's all right. Fingers crossed.
Dave Jaguar. Good evening, Dave. Hope you're well over in Austria. Here we go. How long I expect us? 1992 Rover 214 and a 1992 Rover 216 convertible. That's quite interesting. I bet that 216 convertible is quite rare. So 216. I can't even picture what that would look like. I guess it's a.
Oh, let me find a picture. I think we can.
Like.
We love an old Rover here, don't we? So.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've had a bit of Rover chat, haven't we?
So this is a camera. I think. Let's get this. What colour should we go for? Let's. We'll go for a stock photo because that looks more.
He's got the oldest one left, apparently. That's. Yeah, if you're on Instagram or if you've not done it already, give us an email, because we will eventually do another viewers rides live stream at some point, maybe next month at some point. So yeah, that'd be quite an interesting car to include, I think.
There you go. There's a, if my quick Google search is correct, this is a 216 Cabriolet that's coming up on your screen soon.
Ah, yeah. So it's got like a cool little roll bar. Is that structural? I guess it should be structural.
I'm guessing they're worried about you rolling it. That's why that bar's there. But
Or structural rigidity.
yeah.
I just couldn't picture that. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, that. It's got quarter light windows. It's on the front as well. Again for structure, I guess. Or is that just how the picture is? Bloody horrible grille. Is that because that's a later Rover, isn't it? When they put the grille like that, I'm sure it's when they're a bit later.
Oh, this is just typical 90s, isn't it? This is just where everything square and rectangular was just the thing. Like you look at any
with a chrome somewhere.
Look at any Vauxhalls of the same era or early 90s. It's just, it was they're very similar, but that's what everyone had, and that's what the street looked like, didn't it? Everything looked square and rectangular.
Well, he's just said the whole car wobbles really bad. That doesn't sound good.
It's always why I thought the Mini has done well throughout all decades, because the design is just so no one. It's just there. It's got the curves. It's got the roundness. It's a thing that was designed in the late 50s for it to still be loved so much today. This is why you don't see Rover 216s on the road anymore. It's just it wasn't the best design.
So James is just put, is anyone in their garage presently? And it's like, obviously no, I'm not. And James isn't either. I have mooched in there today. I've touched up a bit of paint on the subframe, but no, I haven't. I've been sorting out other things really. So
I'm itching to get back to the garage, and I think I've got a plan.
You will be hopefully next week, won't you?
Yeah, I think I've got a plan next week. After being locked up for a long time, I shall be in the garage, and touch wood, you might be seeing Violet back on the channel very soon.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people last week when we did our UK versus US cars kept voting Violet. So your wish is our command. We will put Violet back on.
Yeah. And hence why I'm still sticking with Violet as the background choice of our live streams today. I
will say this now on camera. I really missed that car. I didn't think I would. I even thought about selling it a few years back, and I couldn't do it. She's not perfect by any stretch of imagination. You know that you've got her in your possession right now, but I couldn't sell her. Just so cool.
No, I just all this time that I've had her, and I've not been able to do anything with her. But at least she's tucked up and safe. That's the main things. Nothing can happen.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. Yeah. New cars, give a service dealership. It's a walk around video to the car that they send you. See, like Slipstar, obviously Matt, I know you personally. I don't like new cars. I've never been a massive fan of them, and things like that just annoy me. You know, it's like that's not a service. I can walk around my car and say, yeah, it looks okay. It's just wrong because you're paying for that service at the end of the day, and you're getting nothing other than a little video. And we're giving you that for free. So I don't know why people have to pay £400 for a walk around video on your car. It's just a joke. My daily's a 1994 Calibra. When are the last time you've seen one of them? That's rare.
Yeah, it's a rare car.
Rust Bucket also yanked the steering wheel off his today. Was that intentional or did it fall off? That's worrying.
Yeah, it's worrying. It's quite a big nut to rip off.
Yeah, either that or the column's fallen off the car, and that's even worse. It means your floor's pretty rotten. We've still got a chat between Graham and Andy going on there. Not too sure what all that's about, but it's nice to see people chatting amongst each other. Yeah, Calibra. It's one of those cars that actually was quite a good body shape, but again rusted for absolute fun. And am I right in thinking that they had quite bad electrical faults, the Vauxhall Calibra? Every time I remember one, they're electrical faults, but I don't know if I'm correct in thinking that's maybe a different car.
We had a 95, late 95, early 96 Cavalier, and that I did all right.
That was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was tank.
Yeah. Diesel.
Diesel, 1.7 diesel. Still the fastest I think I've ever driven in a car was that Cavalier. Back when I could get away with it on private land, of course. Out of all the cars that I own, actually,
in Mexico. Was it in Mexico?
in Mexico, yeah. But the thing is, like, I've taken my Alpha to the track. I've taken its Brands Hatch, and but the problem is with Brands Hatch, especially on the Indy circuit, the straight is quite short. So
Yeah.
even on the straight, I was getting to 110 before I'm like, yeah, I need a break now. Especially with the corner as it dips down, which everyone told me to watch out for. And to be honest, I think the Alpha took it quite well. But it did push the exhaust did fall off. It fell off one of the hangers. So luckily I managed to jack it up and push it back on the hanger. A good job there was another hanger holding it on. Otherwise I would have lost my exhaust that day. But it would have. I'm worried about that.
Talking of it.
Sorry, go ahead, Matt.
That's okay. As I say, talking about exhaust hangers, you just reminded me. The Clubman's not moved for a good few weeks now, our estate. And I started it up and looked at it. I was like, what's that rattle? And before IMM and before Royal Llandudno and the various other events we've done in it, I always give it a good check over before we go out anywhere. And for some reason, the exhaust clamp just doesn't want to be attached to the subframe anymore. So I don't understand why that rubber's just suddenly perished, because it was pretty much new when I got the car. It's sort of disintegrated and.
That's a whole story about modern day rubber. Any sort of classic parts, brand new part, the quality of the rubber is just so crap now. It just does not.
It's
last.
awful, isn't it?
Awful, yeah. You're changing CV boots every 3 years. You're like, fuck's sake, you know.
Yeah.
The original Rover ones lasted all pretty much 15 years before they did.
Luckily, I've got a little box of bits stored away for the budget Clubman, so I'm going to steal it out of that. So I've got one to fix it.
Yeah, Graham was saying new cars are too technical, need a laptop to fix them, which I think is a degree, but I think there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have proven that a computer is nothing to worry about now.
I think it's the way the world's going, isn't it?
Yeah, it's become very popular. Like even for the SPIs, you can buy. Someone has developed a USB to serial interface, so you could go into the Rover wiring loom and diagnose your Mini. Although there's not a lot you can do with the MEMS on the Rover, because it was very limited, it's very basic. But I think if you've got a modern car and in 10 years' time and it's 15 years old and it requires a laptop, you'll be able to buy one. You'll be able to buy the software and the USB OBD dongle for like 20 quid. It'll give you the assistance you need if you're working on your cars yourself. But I think the exception there is probably like when you go up into like high-end supercars, BMWs, where you need factory software, which I think will eventually come out to the public. But we'll see. But I think I was going to ask another question, Grace. He was trying to tell me, I've lost it now. There's so many more chats. God, where is it? He was saying about the fastest car I've ever been. Yeah, watch it. It was a 1.7 ISO engine Cavalier. Is the fastest car you've ever driven. It's not the fastest car I've ever driven. It's the highest top speed I've ever driven. So,
which, when you currently own a very nice Alpha, is quite embarrassing.
It is, yeah, because I think it was just fortunate that the Cavalier had the capability to go higher speeds. It just took ages to get there.
Was it non-diesel, straight diesel, no turbo?
I'm pretty sure it had a turbo. It was TDI. Yeah, it was TDI. It was fine. It did have a turbo, but obviously that would be low pressure turbo, so that would be low revs. But it went and it got there. If you just put your foot down and go, it would just ever so slowly climb, and you'll get to quite a tight speed. So if you've got like a nice empty dual carriageway on private land, of course, you could get there. But yeah, like
you can have fun with whatever you drive.
I need to take the Alpha out because the Alpha is limited to 156, and I'm like, even when I was on track, I got about 110, 115. I think was the fastest I could get on a track, but different tracks I could probably go a lot faster. Right, I'll stop talking about the Alpha now.
Talking of the Alpha, we were talking about maybe bringing it to the channel at some point. So If people would like
Yeah,
to see a bit more of a modern car, we're all having this debate about old and modern cars, and obviously, yes, Simpsons classics. The name says classics, but it won't always be old cars. It's not always going to be minis. It's going to be a bit of everything. So we have
well,
sort of toyed with the idea of bringing it to the channel, haven't we?
I'll talk quickly about it now. Obviously, it's a Giulietta, 1750 turbo. It's from the factory, has quite a bit of power, about 240 brake.
It
And
sounds cool, I think.
yeah, I have changed the exhaust a little bit, but it's but they stopped producing the Giulietta now. It did 10 years. 10 years being made in Italy. Probably why my car has a lot of problems because it was made in Italy, but I love it for what it is. It's still an Italian brand, Italian car made in an Italian factory. Um,
Yeah,
and it's come and lived its life in the UK. And I haven't done a lot of miles in it. It is, in my eyes, a future classic. And I think that's what the video will be about, future
yeah,
classics. And there
yeah,
is a
yeah.
big scene for the Giuliettas. If a lot of
Mm.
big modifying scene, big performance scenes. So it's uh, it's
You
something
should
that we
both
want to.
tune a car would make a great series. Tune a car, what do you mean? Like a Japanese, like they say, tuna car, or a tuna classic mini or tuna classic car. What sort of vibe do you think from the?
I'm out of beer.
You're out of beer. That's not
Yeah, I
good.
know.
I'm out of tea as well.
I have the very fortunate position of the fridge being right here.
I'd love an E-Type Jag. Yeah, I think we all would an E-Type Jag. It's got to be obviously the V12, and I prefer the earlier ones. The later ones don't do much for me really. But yeah, it's one of those dream cars. And obviously Dave Jaguar, if you've not checked his channel out, he's got a beautiful Jag E-Type. Absolutely stunning.
Whether it's tuned or riced out. We can do like a
Me and
build.
James could rice out a car, couldn't we, James? We could get a little Honda Civic or something and rice it right out.
We could do, yeah.
Universal back box.
Well, I think been some good news for the channel recently, so I think don't quote us to it, but potentially, especially when this COVID is all out of the way,
Yeah, we've got some big plans.
we got some big plans. There's a lot to come, so watch this space.
Yeah. So yeah, like we mentioned before at the beginning of this video, we're very, very close to getting another milestone on our subscribers. So if you do want to see something really random, we are bringing some good sort of videos. Like the Alpha is going to come as well. We'll obviously got our builds, but we're also going to do some random builds, I think, and some random, even if it's just a jolly to go and get a car. I think it's the whole point of owning a car is the experience of getting it, I think, and honing it. And I think it's
going and getting something that was near enough maybe destined for scrap, or it was valueless because it needed work done on it, and just finding those cars, which most projects start out as but we just need to set a few things straight first, and then we can go do that.
definitely. Nice to hear from you, Keith. Have a great evening. Thank you for tuning in once again. We're talking about cardboard things now as well.
Cardboard wings. E-Type. My uncle had an E-Type. Should never have sold it, but he had to.
They are very, very cool cars, for sure. So, yeah, we spoke a little bit, didn't we? When I did my first giveaway, which there is one of the things coming to the channel is a giveaway very soon. I did speak about obviously posting the comments below what your dream car was in that giveaway, and it was quite interesting, the array of cars. There were some cars that weren't. Some of them I hadn't even heard of, to be honest. But there were some cars that I just wouldn't expect to be a dream car to someone, but it was a dream car to them for a reason, like nostalgia or a memory. And again, that just goes back to exactly what I've said. It's the whole point of having a car. It's not about the car as such. It's the memories and the things you attach to it and the things you do with it. And like a lot of my cars, like my Sidewalk, I associate it with meeting my other half and loads of trips and events and stuff we've done in it. And James's Mayfair is his first car, and he's got loads of trips and been to Italy and all sorts and stuff in that. And it's about having a car and make it what you will. But I think owning a car, like I have a daily car to get to work, that's its only purpose. I don't love it, I don't enjoy it. It's just a car to go to work. But I think if you have a car that you really enjoy, doesn't matter what it is, and people shouldn't tell you otherwise. You should just enjoy it.
Yeah, it's I think that's for us. I think we want to buy not necessarily the popular cars, the cars people want to
No.
see. We want to get something that's maybe a little bit different, that's maybe a little bit unloved and it's not loved out there, and we can just give it a final
Yeah.
send off. Obviously,
Even if we only have it a month.
a lot of projects that we end up with obviously are gonna be probably up for sale, and once we're
Yeah.
done with them, so it will
You can
be.
enjoy it as much as we did.
But hopefully with the social media and YouTube etc, we'll be able to find a good owner for all our cars. So just
Yeah.
not exactly. Yeah, James, we know a Maxi. It's not gonna be a surprise when one just suddenly appears on the channel, is it? It's gonna.
No, it's gonna be. Oh, we knew that was coming.
Tell me, oh, I mean, it's just yeah, just there are a couple. There's a couple that's come up in the last month, and I'm just looking for that one that might need a little bit more work, which just brings the price down just enough to make it worthwhile.
Instead of
Um,
tire kicking, you can seal kick.
yeah. Was that one we saw? It was zebriated and it had no rust apparently. That was.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the doors for the Budget Clubman, and there's a video coming out on that on Monday, I think. They've been rust treated from factory, got the little bungs in the bottom of the doors, and yeah, you will see for yourself that it doesn't make a blind bit of difference.
I'm gonna put a picture of Eve back up just because I miss her.
What are you doing? Putting a picture of the Maxi back up?
No, not the Maxi. This is Mini related. This is Eve. It's my favourite photo of Eve ever. When we were in Annecy, just south of the Swiss border.
Yeah, so we've done a video on this, haven't we? Like sort of introducing her to the channel. If anyone's not seen that, please go find it. It's in our what is it in? I think it's cars and reviews. I think playlist on that. And yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, it's a I love. I've openly said to you when I handed you the keys to Violet, make it drive like Eve, because that car just drives so well.
It's I don't
It's
know
just such a
why.
good car.
I've maybe it's just the time and countless hours I put into her, but that was part of a 2,250 miles, so 2,250 miles in 8 days. We did 2,250 miles in a classic Mini. Drove through France into Italy,
Yeah.
then Italy into Switzerland, Switzerland into Germany, Germany into Belgium, and then came back via France at the end there. And it was just an amazing road trip.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a big part of next year because anyone, I don't know if anyone knows, I suppose it is news, anyone who did attend IMM in 2013, they offered anyone who did attend a free ticket to IMM 2021, which is also
that's interesting. Very good of them.
Yeah, because the show was, I won't swear, but there's one word that describes what the show was, but it was, it wasn't well planned. It was a nightmare, and especially because I arrived late because we didn't get there when it opened.
Yeah.
We didn't really enjoy the show that much. We did meet some great people.
Well, like 2019.
Yeah, but it was a trip and a half. Yeah, it was a trip and a half, and that car it 8 miles up. It had no problems, no breakdowns, no nothing.
It was fully loaded.
Fully loaded. It had like the roof rack, spare wheel, luggage, tents, everything. Actually, at this point, we actually pulled over here because the fuel gauge was reading empty. I'm like, I can't see a petrol garage, and we was in like France and we was about to go into Italy, and I'm like, we had a jerry can and 5 litres of fuel in the back. So like, let's pull over here and put it in just so that we've got enough to get to a petrol garage. And that was
the best photo.
And then we got the best photo of all. So it was. And Martin's commenting now, but actually this is the photo I took on my Sony phone, not the camera he chose. So it is my photo. If he starts questioning, no breakdown. Sorry. Yeah, the only breakdown was there. Well, there's two things actually. There was a problem. One of them I could have fixed very early on, but I didn't realise because I took the wrong wheel off. But the drive flange on the passenger side, the 4 bolts that hold the drive flange to the disc, They wound themselves out, and it was only the alloy that was stopping them coming all the way out.
Yeah.
But because of that, I got very bad brake judder. But I still managed to do. This was probably over about 1,500 miles. So the last sort of 750 miles was really bad. But I just tried not to brake too hard. And I took I thought it was coming from the driver's side, so I took the driver's side wheel off, checked all of that, and it was fine. But in my head, now I think about it, I was like, maybe I just didn't know enough about it. I was like, should have really checked the other side, because if I checked the other side up and took the wheel off, I would have seen it straight away. I was like, oh shit, these bolts are about to fall out. Didn't realise, but we still made it, and I could still brake, so it wasn't the end of the world. They were just a little bit loose. But then when we got back to France, it had been hailing, it had been raining, it was a thunderstorm in Belgium. I had my lights on, I had the radio playing. Obviously, I had an amplifier in the boot for the speakers. I had the heated windscreen on, the wipers were on, everything was on, and I just exhausted the battery. So I think it got to the point where I was just running off the alternator. When we parked up in the superstores near France just before the ferry crossing, the battery just died, and it just wouldn't start. And of course, I was like, shit, what do I do? Our ferry's in about, I think we had about 40 minutes to make our ferry, and we was like, oh, I'm going to have to call the breakdown people. I did our breakdown cover for Europe. And then I thought, oh no, we're in like a supermarket car park here. And I literally just ran round until I saw an English couple, elderly couple, and they had an English car, obviously English plates. And I just went up to them and was like, can I get a jump start off for you? And they had this brand new Mazda 3, and they were more than happy to help. But it still wouldn't jump start. Battery was completely exhausted. And then I thought, and I was like, what do I do? And then I just suddenly had a thought in my head, and I just grabbed my wallet, ran back into the supermarket. They had literally like 200 car batteries on the shelf, and I was like, which one? And I looked at the one that fit, it was for a Simpson something, obviously being French, and I was like, that one looks like it'll fit. €55 later, grabbed that, put it in the car, started up. We were about 5 minutes late to the boarding time for the Mini, but there was a queue to get in, so we were absolutely fine, and we got home. So there you go.
That's really good.
There's
It's a proper trip, isn't it?
It's a proper trip, and well, it looks like I will be doing it again next year now with the free tickets, but I think it's deserved after we couldn't do anything this year. But I'm looking forward to. I think we'll take it a bit slower next year. I think, but hopefully more of us, because it was just me and my brother at this point. So it was a fun trip, but I think if we're going to do it again, we need more people. So you're going to be there.
Yeah. Romford guys just commented as well. How's the badge going? The badge is in one piece, obviously, if you've seen the last video, and we've started to put a bit of colour into it. It will appear in another future video. We're pretty happy with it. My other half's helped with doing the paint, and it's a colour that's picked. We picked the centre bit. It's stunning. It's really going to, especially with the mustard colour car, it's going to pop really well. So you'll see it in a future episode. It's not quite finished, and I don't want to show it until it's finished. What have we got? Do you plan doing another budget series? I don't have any plans for another budget series, especially not a Mini, but we have plans to do other cars, so there might be a budget, I don't know, buy spares or repairs car budget, or there will be something, because I do think it's important not to throw money at cars. We've got to live in the real world. And stay tuned. It will be a classic or a modern car, we're not sure. But yeah, there'll be something in the budget related, let's put it that. Comments?
I think there is going to be probably a couple of another minis, like a bit like similar to the John Cooper series, where it's going to be some welding and quick job sort of things. So probably a small little series for those, won't they? But they're probably coming soon. That's if the owner is happy with that, I guess. I didn't ask you that. I'll talk to you later about that.
Yeah, we'll chat later about that one. Luke Harvey. Yeah, I'm all right, thank you, mate. How are you? Hope you're having a good bank holiday weekend. It's nice to see some faces coming on here that I've comment on or like pictures of on Instagram as well. It's quite nice to see. Maybe Mark will do it in 3 years when we get back on the 89. Now. Got a very expensive year this year in my personal life, so we will be doing the 89, and it will do a lot of trips, because my other half doesn't believe in owning a car and not using it, so it will be out and about for sure. Bye, Chris. I'm going to go and run MJ up soon.
I think he's trying to say he's going to IMM 2021.
All right. Someone's just gone to see you, Chris.
Graham wants rid of him already.
Engine's going into the budget clubman build, Mark.
Oh, this is a good one.
Charleston 5 Metro engine at the moment. Maybe with a cam and a bit of headwork. Nothing fancy, to be honest. I'm saving the cost for a big engine is going to go in the van. So this was originally the engine I earmarked for the van, but since Coca-Cola didn't work, and I don't fancy putting a 998 in it after I'm going to hopefully achieve the look I want, I'm going to go for something a bit more enjoyable and a bit more drivable and put the Charleston 5 engine in it. So yeah, MG Metro 1275.
Which will give it quite a bit of power for
Yeah,
technically more power than what the 1275 GT would have had from the factory. So
yeah, and faster on my sidewalks. It will actually be the fastest Mini I own.
Another reason why you don't plan to sell Amber. So it's.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever did, the engine would be pulled. I've had the engine for a lot of 4 or 5 years now, and I only paid £75 for the engine, so it's something I do want to keep. So yeah, I think I'm going to run it in this. I'm not building a replica. A lot of people have commented saying I'm building a replica GT. I'm not. I like a few of the features from the GT. I'm not one for the side stripes. I don't even really particularly like them on the GT. I think I like a plain looking car. Yeah, but it will have Ross style wheels and GT nod on the grille and yeah, a few little bits and pieces. And I guess the 1275 it's like James said, it's more powerful than the original GT. So it's yeah.
Yeah, I think it'd be. Yeah.
Andy Whitehall loving the budget club, and I'm glad you're enjoying it, mate. Yeah, we're getting close to seeing some more mustard.
I was going to say it's going to be some great videos on Amber soon, so that'll be good.
Yeah.
Got some time to. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be done sooner than you probably thought, really, isn't it?
I always said I wanted it painted by the end of the summer, really, so I can put it together over the winter. That's the plan. Yeah, it's going to obviously the budget stops when I hit the painted shell, so I'm working out what parts I do and don't have. I'd like to think it could go for an MOT early next year, but it really depends. Graham's mentioned again, it's an expensive year this year for me, and they do have to take the back seat, unfortunately. But I want to get to a point where at least it can. I don't want loads of cars and pieces everywhere. It gets quite chaotic and a bit annoying, to be honest. I don't know how people do it. Have loads of cars stripped everywhere. You know, it's get a bit annoying. So. Luke Harvey might have to get used to a bit of welding in my Park Lane. I think you have to join the queue, buddy. It's getting quite busy.
There will be I think a queue. You're not going to be quiet for the next year. Let's say that.
No. No. So yeah, classic mini garage. Charleston Drive GT's at 61 brake horsepower from standard. MG Metro is a 72 brake. So yeah, I was about to say I think it's 74 for the MG Metro, but it's not really far off when I gauged that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it really. I've driven that car. It came in a Mini City weirdly, but it's an MG Metro engine that the guy was really happy that he put in it. But we bought the car for spares, and really that was the only good thing about the car. The three of us went in on the deal and we split everything. One guy wanted the interior, I wanted the engine, and everyone else took the shell basically. But yeah, so my split in that was 75 quid for an MG Metro engine, and they thought it was a 998. They said, oh, you can have that, we don't want it. And as soon as I saw the engine number, and I was like, yeah, this is definitely a 1275, and it drives like a 1275. So
no, that's good. Good.
Will the budget clubman be going to any shows? Yes, it will. So don't laugh at it when you see it. It will be definitely at some shows. I can't do all this work. I'm not show what you can do in a garage on a budget. But yeah, you've just got to bear in mind that I'm just another guy like you guys. So really, I'm doing the best I can. I'm hoping to get a nice finish, and the biggest thing is the car's going to get used. So
I mean, next year,
I've done everything.
Car shows next year, we're going to be pretty much at every single one of them, I think.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Even if it's both of us or somewhere up north that Mark go to, and then the ones down south I'm down to. So
yeah,
there'll be, obviously I'll have the MJ back by then, so we'll be able
Yeah.
to show the channel cars quite a bit, hopefully.
Definitely.
I've just
A lot of people do like the Budget Club, and I'm seeing in these comments here as well. And I think to maybe get the Budget Club and the Cooper together and stuff like that. And I think, like you say, we're collaborating a few shows, and yeah, I think it's going to be good. Someone else is going to be on a budget as well. Now, obviously, like I've just said, we've got to be in the real world, and like I'm going to be putting the car together on a budget as well. I'm not a millionaire. I'm going to raid spares, like I mentioned in a few episodes, and make stuff, clean stuff, and I don't. If you can hold your head high and know your car is drastically underpriced on the road, but worth more than you've ever, put into it, then you've done a good job. I think if you go on mini spares and order one of everything, I think you've got no pride in that really. It's not restoring a car, that's buying a car and putting it together in my eyes. But each to their own of what you build at the end of the day. It's refurbishing original parts is better than buying new. I'm fully behind that.
I hear Poppy in the background.
Yeah, I don't have a pig, by the way. It's just a dog.
Guys, grab the edge of scrap in the air. Can you ask for a pickled egg? Can you get me a back sausage whilst you're at it? Totally agree on Metros, yeah. Metros are only worth it for the engine. I've got a welder, but I can't seem to set it up.
Any pointers.
I had this issue with my welder when I had Mark's brother help me do some welding on Eevee, and I don't know. It's
what problems are you having? I think is the biggest thing to ask. What's going wrong with it?
Is it burning through, or is it splattering a lot? Or we had a lot of problem with the gas cylinder and the valve. It took us ages to get it right, and then by the time we got it right, we lost all the gas. So.
Yeah, Romford guy. Oh, you can't say that about a Clubman. It needs a proper mini front end. But I do understand they are like Marmite. You either love or hate them. I just love the Clubman. I just think they're such a cracking looking car. Hi guys, I have an MG Metro engine in my Retro Mayfair and using Evo. Goes really well. An Evo cam, yeah, this is one of the cams I was looking at actually. I think it's that available at mini spares, isn't it? It's their sort of fast, mild road sort of cam. It's meant to be pretty good. So yeah, it's sort of on my list.
Someone else said it was quiet tonight. I think in general that the YouTube sort of scene it was busier a few weeks ago, because I think a lot of people were like, oh, what do I do with my time, because it's COVID, and then they've all come and joined. But I think now a lot of people have actually found stuff to do, projects, which is good. Hopefully people are working on their cars today and it's good weather as well. Well, it is down south.
Yeah.
Don't know what it is up in.
It's lovely up north as well.
Yeah, so I think it's just the good weather that we've had recently has really put people outside, on their driveways or in their garages.
Which is good.
So.
The whole point of the whole point of our channel anyway is get people in their garage. So if it's working, it's working. It's what you should be doing. Has anyone noticed a few mini Perspies running low on stock? Yes, Paul, I have noticed that actually. I'm waiting for door repairs for the Clubman, and they've been a bit delayed regarding stock. Go mini Clubmans. Can't wait to see the Budget Clubman painted. You and me both. I cannot wait to see it painted. And I tell you what, one of the first things that's going to be going back on it is that grille. I can't wait to see the two things together. So yeah, it's a case of getting that hurdle, I guess, and getting it done. I was talking with a friend today regarding the paint, and there's a possibility you might paint it in stages purely for space and to concentrate on panels that go, but we'll see. I really want to get the main shell painted and then maybe paint the exterior panels after that. But what I have probably discussed is I'm probably going to paint the boot lid first. I can really test how that's going to do. It's a very curved panel, but also a smaller panel that if I get it really well and I don't have to repaint it, I can stick it away and go, right, that's that done. Let's get on with the rest and build up confidence, I guess, because I haven't painted a car start to finish ever. It's my first time, so hence if you see it at shows, be nice.
You say this, but I know what you like, Mark, and you're going to say it's crap, but actually I think the general consensus of most people will say actually looks really good. So, and you've got to think that
you'll probably see it first, James.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be there when it fires up for the first time and it's all put back together.
We'll do a live when James comes up to see it.
Yeah.
You can see.
I think it's going to look great, and I think people have just got to realise that it was a budget build and it was done on a budget and it was done on your driveway and it hasn't gone to a paint booth, it hasn't gone to a proper
It's
professional
not
shop.
moved from that spot on my driveway since owning it.
So I think a lot of people will really appreciate about how the hard work that's gone into it, and it's yeah, you haven't paid a lot of money for a professional company to do the best job possible. Whereas the whole idea is to save the car, get it back on the road on a budget, and enjoy the car for what it is, not to necessarily make it a pristine show car. So
No, it's got. That's why I've gone to the extent underneath. It's not to make it look pretty, although it does look really cool. It's rust proofing at the end of the day. So that's the main reason for it. Luke's just commented back. Sorry, Classic Mini Garage has just said the Evo Cam's brilliant. Yeah, that is what I've heard, and it probably is the way I'm going to go. Keeps blowing through and just ends us spitting out, and it's the same one as Keith Miller. So that's the Clark 135, I think, isn't it? I think if that's happening, you either got the volts turned up too high, or the metal you're welding maybe isn't the best, maybe a bit too thin. So if the metal is quite thin, obviously make sure it's not rusty, and make sure it's clean. But if it is still doing that on a good piece of metal, just try turning the bolts down a little bit and turn your wire speed down and start really slow with everything. I think if you start with lower volts, make sure you're still getting penetration on your metal, but start with lower volts and then build your wire speed up how you work. The welder I've got is quite a big overkill, clumpy thing, really. It's a bit too much for a Mini. And it has like 12 settings on it, and I literally only run it on one. I've never moved it. Apart from when I built the frame, the jig work for the 89, I turned it up a bit because the metal was thicker. I haven't changed it. So you don't need loads and loads of power from a welder to weld a Mini up anyway. The metal's just not that thick. But yeah, the best thing I can say is get a load of scrap metal, clean it all up, and just make shapes. I did a welding course at college, and I just made shapes. And I think that's the best thing to do. Butt welds, bridging gaps, just play. Don't touch your car until you've learned how to use your welder, I think that, and then you build up the confidence then, and when you do weld, you're going to be really impressed with it. Yeah. But that welder you've got is a really, really good welder. It's not going to be that. It's just practice, really. And you guys obviously see what I do on a video, but I don't get it right first time. I'm not the best welder out there at all, but it's got to be strong at the end of the day, and that's why God invented an angle grinder to clean it back. So yeah. As long as it's solid, that's what you got to do. So
I've only had one experience of welding, and it was an old donated Clark welder. It's quite old, but it seemed to work. It did the job that it needed to do.
They're good welders.
I mean, the problem we had the most was making sure the metal was really clean, like literally. Even it's the car.
Clinically clean.
It was the car that was the problem because there was so much rust around it, and we was only trying to patch a hole. We didn't want to cut away too much, but so it ended up with us. But you got to really make sure it's clean, like shiny metal, and then you get a much cleaner weld. And I don't think someone said, "What does the gas do?" As far as I'm aware, Mark, correct me if I'm wrong. The gas is about having a cleaner line.
It's a shielding gas.
It's a cleaner bead because if you don't use the gas, it can splatter quite a lot, and then you get all the excess around it, and you just have to grind it all back.
It's the impurities in the air. Yeah, the idea behind shielding gas. I use CO2 argon mix. If anyone is asking, or it's maybe not using the same thing, you can use CO2. Most people do. You can get that a lot easier. But I've always found CO2 argon mix is a little bit better. It leaves a bit of residue every now and then, but yeah, James is right. The gas is there to fight off the impurities if there is any, and give you the best possible weld, really. Some guys, pub gas, CO2, people use that. It's if you can get someone who can fill it up for you for free, it's perfect. I mean, I pay Hobby Weld, which is where I get my gas from. It's obviously I have the bottle. I've paid the subscription for the bottle, and then I just go back and fill it up, and obviously I have to pay for that. But if my gas doesn't muck around and my regulator doesn't break, then it's fine.
I would definitely check your valves because I had issues and I bought replacement valves, and when I bought the replacement valve, they hadn't machined out it was still solid brass, so they hadn't machined it out properly. So when you were turning the valve, nothing was coming out, and I thought, what's going wrong? And in the end, it was I was like, no, there must be something wrong with the valve. And I took it back and had to argue, but they did agree that it was machined wrong, and I managed to get another valve. So it's definitely worth checking, even if it is brand new. I wouldn't be surprised if there's problems because the valves they give you are not they're more designed for the hobby world bottles, the smaller bottles. I'm not
Yes.
sure on
Yeah.
that Clark though. It might be designed to take more, but
Yeah.
and I have heard that the argon CO2 mix is the best. If you want a clean world, it's the best one to get. But I think it's also the most expensive, so probably makes
Yeah.
sense. And yeah.
Yeah. Christopher Thomas, I don't think we've seen you in any of these live streams yet. Welcome to the chat. Hey, boy, I've been watching your project. It's starting to look really great. Yeah, I'm quite glad it's a solid shell again. And obviously, you know, if you follow us on Instagram, there's some colour on it now. So, future video, I think it's out this week, towards the end of the week. Yeah, it's getting there. I guess the exciting bits coming along.
Oh dear, I think my dad's been drinking too much again. He's starting fights in the chat.
When you go in to put some more tattoos on your other arm, it looks rather naked. I'm spending all the money on the budget clubman.
I'm going to say the budget doesn't allow for that, I don't think.
Yeah, one day.
I think that's probably. We
all
spoke a bit about the news, the cars. I don't think there's anything else that's really pressing, but.
But yeah, we wanted to take the time. Oh, Tony's just tuned in. Yeah, sorry, Tony, we're a bit early today. We mentioned at the beginning a few things going on, both our personal lives. So yeah, we've joined a bit early. But yeah, like James said, we thought have a bit of a chat, bit of news, see what people think of certain aspects that really what we talk about. So we thought we'd bring it to you guys about electric vehicles, electric classics, and what's going on in the world with regard to the MOTs and stuff and motoring. But the biggest thing we got to take away from all of this is we're stuck indoors, build cars, enjoy yourself, get out when you can, and then you'd be more proud of it that you've done it yourself and you've used your time constructively, I guess. But yeah, we mentioned at the beginning we're so close to another milestone regarding subscribers, and we really do everything for this channel for you guys. It's really fulfilling when people give nice comments and ask questions, and we hope we're answering them the best we possibly can. But James has mentioned hopefully Violet's going to come to the channel next week. There's quite a lot to do, and I'll leave it for him to explain when he puts a video together. But yeah, it's going to be really good, and I can't wait to see my baby back on the channel.
I'm not sure you're going to enjoy the first video because it's probably going to be it's going to be a lot of taking her to bits and kind of getting ready for the future videos in the series of her. I'm trying to think it's not like a restoration at all. It's just going to be a quick
overhaul. It's like a mechanical overhaul.
Mechanical overhaul, I think, is the way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been great chatting to you guys. We really enjoyed it. Yeah. It's given us something, or given me something to do every week.
Yeah.
And it's there's a lot of exciting things. I think I know we've spoken about it a few times tonight, but 50% of our viewers don't actually subscribe to the channel. So if we can just claw that extra few, that'll be help us a lot, because we've got so many projects, so many ideas, so many things we want to bring and show you guys, but we need
support behind us.
We need the support
to help us do all that.
To help us bring it to you, and obviously it doesn't cost you anything. So if you don't mind,
so yeah, like James mentioned.
Appreciated.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. We've got Sidewalk coming back to the channel. I did mention briefly we have got a giveaway coming, and that is a way of us giving something back to you guys for watching, and it will very much help you with building your classic mini. So keep an eye out for that. We're looking forward to being able to put that video together and putting it out. So if you're watching our videos, it will appear in amongst one of them. So we'll obviously give you a bit of notice and we'll put it into the title. But yeah, we really do appreciate you guys taking the time to watch us and listen to us and tuning in. Now it's nice to have to chat with everyone and get to know people.
Have you thought about a few giveaways of maybe linking them to people viewing the Saturday night stream as well?
Yeah, we could put a clue to an answer maybe or something in there. Yes, that's a very good idea.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. Well, we've already got the idea of our next giveaway, but maybe
we can use that in the future, definitely.
Maybe we'll do one on the stream as well.
Yeah, for you loyal guys that tune in every single Saturday just to listen to us. Yeah, it's massively rewarding when we get feedback like that. So Yeah, we're going to call it a virtual pub, are we?
A virtual pub, yeah. It's one of those things we would really chat about down the pub, really, isn't it? I mean, it's quite a good way to sum it up. I think Christopher told us who's the guy at the bottom of the screen. Has he got a channel?
I'll let you introduce yourself, James.
Well, I'm James, and I've known Mark for 9, 10 years now, and
Yeah, for that easy, yeah.
I do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I have been on a few of his videos, 3 or 4 of them. So if you check out the older videos of the channel,
The Mayfair.
you will see me. The plan was that I was going to be putting more regular videos up alongside Mark. Obviously, COVID-19 has put a big downer on that, but it's yeah. Hopefully, you'll see a little bit more of me, and you'll see the cars and see a bit more of the cars, and be able to see more content of the cars that Mark works on, what we got, because I'll be able to help out here and there. So
yeah,
nice.
So together we are Simpsons Classics.
We
We're all
are
bringing you footage. We are going to bring you everything we've got planned, and we're so excited to be able to do that because it is what we want to do. We want to bring what we love to you guys, and you guys are now contributing, and that's the whole point of it, to make the classic car world and the car world more enjoyable. Yeah, it's why we do it. So, are you a Mini guy too, James? Yes, like he's mentioned, he's got a classic Mini. MJ, the Cooper that I'm doing currently, is his dad's, and yeah, so there is Minis in his family as well.
Yeah, I've had my Mini Mayfair for 10 years now, so 95 SPI.
Yeah.
Going to be some SPI videos coming because obviously Violet is an SPI, so
yeah. If you like your later Minis,
if you like your later ones, then you'll get along with me. Yeah. Because I say it all the time, but if you're going to own a classic Mini, get an SPI. If you're gonna, especially if you're gonna use it a lot, just it takes a lot of the faff out of tuning carbs, etc. Injections just do it all for you. But a lot of people give them grief for what they are, but you just got to know what you got to do with the injections, and
it's getting a well put together one and enjoying it. Basically, that's the main thing. So yeah, we're gonna call that a wrap. We've really enjoyed it again this week. It's been great to speak to you all, and some new people coming in, which is awesome. So if, like we've mentioned, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. And next week we've got more on the Cooper, the Budget Clubman, and Violet from James, hopefully. So yeah, it's going to be a really good week. Really looking forward to it.
Well, probably. So we might going to take a break in the live stream, but we might do a poll on Facebook or something, or Instagram, see if people, because you need a big fat Weber. I think we'll do a poll because we're happy to do it. I think chances are we're going to still be in lockdown for another couple of weeks anyway. So
yeah,
we'll have the time to do another live stream. But if people want that and they're enjoying these weekly ones, then we'll carry on. So
definitely, yeah. So yeah, it's us signing out. Yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah,
and we really chatting tonight. So enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Having a lot of fun chatting to you guys, and yeah, I'll see you in the week, and we'll probably see you next week. I don't imagine we've
keep an eye on Instagram, Facebook, because you'll get all the sneak peeks to everything. So if you haven't already, find us on Facebook and Instagram. James has got in the backing there. We've got both our Instagrams on there. So yeah, catch you in the next one, guys.
Yeah, take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekends.
Bye bye.